Lady Taco.
Oh, man, dude, that's gross.
Welcome back to the best pro wrestling podcast. My name is Tommy Stryker. Taco is here.
What up?
Joe is here as well.
What's up?
I am back after a week-long vacation in New York City, celebrating my 10-year anniversary with my lovely bride, Sarah. And, I didn't watch any wrestling while I was on my vacation, except for, I did have like one day where I kind of got off to myself and got caught up on a couple of little things on YouTube or whatever.
Yeah.
Sneak away to a bar, watch a little on the phone.
A little bit, yeah. But, I mean, just like a couple hours worth of stuff. I didn't see any Raw or Smackdown. I didn't see any Best of Super Juniors until I got back home and got caught up with all of that.
Sure.
So, in a way, it was kind of nice to just kind of get away from it all.
Hell yeah.
But, I mean, it's cool to be back, too, and I'm very excited to be podcasting again. We dropped a new Strong Honor, recorded that earlier today, talked about the entire Best of the Super Juniors up to this point and what's going on in Ring of Honor this week. So look for that. We got a couple of notes on that.
I'm glad I got my voice back this week.
Yes. Taco had a microphone issue last week. He was using my microphone, and originally I thought, well, Taco speaks a little bit softer than me, but it turns out he had the microphone turned sideways,
fucking
and that's
amateur
why
hour.
he sounded like this, because he was talking into the wrong side of the microphone. So I won't be doing that today. I'll be talking into it's not Taco's fault. He's never used he's never used this microphone before.
Bush League Taco.
He doesn't
Bush
know.
League.
He doesn't know any better.
No
It's
Bush.
fine. It's fine. Well, we're back to the good stuff this week. Taco's on his regular mic. He's talking into the proper side.
Yes.
Tommy's
Things are great.
keeping us in order now.
Right. We're back to our new format that we started 2 weeks ago, and we're going to resume that today. So we're going to start off, of course, with the best of the week. Now, do I have that little? What did I do with?
Hashtag the best.
After being away, now I can't remember where I put all of my sound bites. Now
This guy.
I still got New Japan stuff up here.
Amateur hour.
I got to get all of this stuff out of the way.
Just leaves for a week. And
I know. I don't know
forgets
where
everything.
anything is now.
Done.
Just throws it all away. It's
like-
not. This is totally
It's
unprofessional.
like dolphins are writing this shit.
What on earth did I do with hashtag the best? Because we had that.
Dude, manatees.
We had that thing from the B team. There it is. Hashtag the best.
B stands for best.
So, Joe, what is your best of the week this week?
I don't know why.
Hashtag the best.
and I popped. I laughed so hard. I watched this a few times, but Miz covering his eyes with his freaking band and karate chopping pancakes out of the air while the bar just sits there and chucks pancakes
And he was
at him.
getting them, too.
Yeah, he was hitting them, not even missing, and then leading into an actually pretty good 6-man match.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the bar and you've got New Day. We've seen what they can do a couple times before. Weren't they together?
Yeah,
They've
TLC. Or, no, not TLC. Yeah, no.
well, the bar's been over on
Yeah,
Raw
TLC.
for a while, but
When fucking Strowman killed everyone.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm remembering. But again, when you get
No,
New
Miz
Day,
killed Strowman.
yeah, I know. But but when you get the New Day in the bar in matches, these guys put on hell of a matches, especially if Xavier Woods is in the match. I mean, he just gets a different kind of physical attitude when he's facing these bigger guys, and I really like seeing that out of him.
Here's the thing. I like Woods and Sheamus fighting each other. They're so fun to watch. I don't know why, but just that little guy, that big guy, they're not afraid to go. So.
it's a cool dynamic.
Yeah, they work really well together.
Yeah, hell of a match on SmackDown, that 6-man there. We still don't know which member of the New Day is going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder
It's going to be
match.
Kofi Kingston. What do you think, Taco?
I'm going Big E.
What do you think, Tommy?
I would love to see Xavier Woods.
Wow, this is great.
It's funny how that works out, isn't it? Actually, any of them I think would be pretty cool in there. So
I'm going to say
I don't
this
think
right
any
now.
of them are going to win, but
I'm saying this right now. Kofi Kingston is my pick for New Day, and he's going to win.
okay. Well, now that you've revealed your prediction for next week, or no, it's like 2 weeks away. It's this thing.
Yeah, we
isn't-
still got time.
yeah.
I'll forget by then.
right. You'll
It's
completely
where there's
change
time
your
to
pick.
build a product going into a pay-per-view.
That's crazy.
So, Taco, what is your best of the week this week? Hashtag the best.
The B stands for best.
I'm going to have to go with Samoa Joe pulling out the win this week SmackDown. He started SmackDown off with a banger, and he ended SmackDown with a banger, going to Money in the Bank. So I'm really excited, and I'm hoping he pulls that off.
And a fun three-way match there, what ended up being on SmackDown. Right, exactly. Everybody was really excited for the one-on-one between Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe.
And we'll get that down the line. Let's be honest. I think they did the smart idea of making this a triple threat.
Unless Daniel Bryan leaves WWE to cross off CMLL and New Japan and Ring of Honor on his bucket list when his contract's up in September. But yeah, they do have time to go back to
8 minutes and 7 seconds into SmackDown is when I went, God damn it! And that's because Cass's music started playing.
Well, yeah, they were tearing it up with those promos at the beginning of SmackDown, and then Big Cass comes out with his crutch that was too short for him, forgetting which leg to limp on.
Give me this, and no, you still fucking got into the match. I'm glad he's healed. It was all work, whatever it was. But yeah, no, fucking good main event for SmackDown. And before the injury, they were kind of putting some. Even when he was with Enzo, they're kind of putting some emphasis on Big Cass and, kind of wanting him to be in that main event player. So I know a lot of people don't like him feuding with Daniel Bryan, but, I'm glad they are if they want him to be the future, part of the future of that company. He needs to be doing these, and him in this role, especially a triple threat match with, two veterans of the fucking game, you cannot be in a better spot, and he looked good doing it. So props.
He hung in there, at least was there for actually there was one spot where he rolled out when he was supposed to stay in the ring and do another spot. But yeah, you're right. It helps out having him be in there with those two veterans.
He's throwing hard hits too. That's what I've noticed with him.
Yeah, and that's really all he's got. Really, he's got kicks
but he's
and
a big
punches.
Guy, though. That's what
that's
they
how.
Do. I'm not expecting some Daniel Bryan, Jeff Hardy shit out of him.
Right.
He's a 7-foot monster.
Unless you're Chris Dijak at NXT and you do springboards and stuff
Is that
like
Donovan Dijak's brother?
Correct. So my hashtag the best of this week is the Mauro Renallo documentary on Showtime, The Bipolar Rock and Roller.
Such a great time.
Talked about a little bit last week.
Oh my God, it sucked. It was awful. Why am I bringing this up in hashtag the best? No, of course it was great. It was amazing. You hear Mauro's backstory, how he got into the business of he got his start in pro wrestling and then moved on to boxing and MMA, and talked about his time with announcing for Pride in Japan and all of that. And the big part of the story is him not being able to find the right kind of medications and those making his condition worse. And really one of the biggest things that helped him out was moving to Southern California and starting to use medical marijuana. SCU starting to use medical marijuana. Yeah. That was a big turning point for him. Was incorporating that into his medication or his I don't know what I'm trying to say. Use your words.
Schedule.
Yeah, just starting to use that as
daily routine.
As a treatment, really helped him out in doing musical therapy and stuff like that. He is. I identify so much with him because like when I get prepared to do this podcast, I get excited. I put a lot of energy into the podcast. But he's like that 24/7 with like everything he does. And then he has these ultimate highs where he's working and he's intense. And then he has these, these crashes, these lows. I don't have the crashes and the lows. I'm not bipolar, but I can understand his kind of intensity that he puts into his work or whatever, and his passion. And that's why he's so successful, is because he's put so much hard work into like everything he's done. And he's, got that intensity, all the time when he's working. It's just when he's away from work, how does he come out of it? How does he turn it down?
He's always on high. It's
right. And if you haven't,
it's good or bad.
If you haven't seen it, we've brought it up before, but just there's a reaction video just showing what Mauro does, like how he reacts at NXT from the last NXT TakeOver pay-per-view. It is worth the watch. Look at the other two guys sitting right next to him. Let's be honest. Like, he is getting out of his seat for spots. He is yelling crazy shit, and he is enjoying every second of it.
And it's amazing that video's, making the rounds now, but that's nothing new. That's always been Renallo, whether it was Pride or Bellator or NXT or SmackDown. He's always out of his fucking seat, screaming out of it. Just go and listen to him and Baz Rutan's podcast that they do together. I don't picture him sitting down at all.
Oh, no. Why even give him a chair?
Yeah, he's just a powerful voice, powerful mind, and I'm glad he's able to get, somewhat get it under control and be able to go out there and help others with their issues and just being able to talk about it. That's one thing he says is, big in his life now is the ability just to talk about it. Someone going out to, I brought it up last week on that Brendan Schaub podcast. He was saying how he tweeted out he was having a bad day, and that Brendan Schaub dude just tweeted out or sent him a text. He's like, "Hey man, I fucking love you," and he's like, "You don't understand. That meant the world to me." He's like, "I just need little things like that," and it's just like he's so open, and that's what you need. So
it was funny because on the documentary, sometimes he kind of downplays the Twitter stuff too. He's like, fuck off, it's not helping me at all." Mm-hmm. So it depends on his mood too. And
well, that's what I'm just saying. He's put that out there. This was like more of a close personal friend just saw that out there on Twitter. That's why you just sent him a personal text like, "Hey, brother, I fucking love you," and that just shows that even though he's shitty and just throws something kind of negative like that out there on Twitter, just having that one person saying, "Hey, I fucking need a hug, dude. Like, what's up?" That speaks volumes, and he's more open and able to kind of have that communication. And he wasn't back in the Pride days. Pride was a fucking, we're talking about JBL being a bully, rootin' dude. No, I guarantee Pride was a worse atmosphere for him.
Well, interesting you bring up the JBL thing. He didn't specifically talk about JBL in this documentary, but he talked about leaving SmackDown because he just couldn't handle going on the road every week. Like, that was just too much for him. So it's interesting because it makes you wonder, because the JBL stuff was out there and he wasn't necessarily disputing it on social media either. So I think they probably just left that side of the story out of it, because he does in fact still work for WWE. And let's give WWE a little bit of props for bringing the guy in to do NXT. It's basically working with him and his condition, because this is better for him doing the NXT taping schedule instead of live on SmackDown every week. Just being in a better environment and away from JBL.
Exactly. And we get Mauro every week.
Yes.
That is the biggest thing.
Right.
Like, if I were to ever meet the guy, I'd just say thank you for being on TV every week.
Well, and quite frankly, Mauro on NXT is way better than Mauro on SmackDown Live.
True.
So, I mean, there's that, too. So, all right, let's change it up and talk a little bit of the news this week.
The subject.
Where did I do the news? There it is.
We have quite a bit of news for you.
So we didn't, obviously, I wasn't here last week, but I think you guys talked about it a little bit on your version of the podcast. By the way, very, very nice work last week. I appreciate it. We tried. It was fun. You guys sounded like you had a good time. You covered all the topics. So
just trying to keep the show going.
Yeah, no dead air, man. That was the ultimate goal. No dead air.
Yeah, you guys did a great job.
The only thing we practiced was that theme song, and I'm fucking proud of that intro.
Hells yeah,
man. That was nicely done. This is kind of old news, but new stuff keeps coming out about it. The new TV deals for Raw and SmackDown, USA and NBC Universal deciding to focus their energies on keeping Monday Night Raw. And even the Monday Night Raw deal is bigger than the deal that they have right now for both Raw and SmackDown. So WWE shops SmackDown over to Fox. They buy SmackDown. Sounds like it's going to be on Friday nights. A lot of people are speculating that this might be they might be going up to 3 hours with SmackDown too.
Oh, they better move it to fucking Friday if they're going to make it 3 hours. I'm not watching 6 hours every week on Monday and Tuesday.
No, there's no way. So I know, Joe, you had some things to say about the Friday thing. We can get into the possibility of 3 hours. What happens to 205 Live if it's still around? This is all going to happen next fall, the fall of 2019. So don't tune in this Friday night to Fox or anything. This is well over a year away. But your thoughts on the move to Fridays, the Fox deal?
As you heard, I want Fridays. I love the space. Yeah, sure, we record right in the middle of that. It's not going to change any scheduling. It's not going to do much. It doesn't affect a whole lot of people except for maybe, WWE scheduling in general. Yeah. But I love Fridays. I miss Fridays. Like, I miss Friday night SmackDown. It was something to lead into the week and something I could decompress, come home, watch SmackDown, and then go into the weekend.
Back in my day, it was Thursday.
Yeah, I know. That was the original SmackDown.
I think it's really interesting that the move to Fridays, I'm with you. I like it. I hope it stays at 2 hours. I mean, the fan in me and the fan in everybody is saying, let's get Raw back to 2 hours. Let's keep SmackDown at 2. Everybody's hoping, hey, maybe Fox wants to do something drastically different with SmackDown. And it's really in WWE's best interest to do something drastically different with SmackDown to make it seem like a bigger, more important show. They're going to want to impress Fox, who's giving them a lot of money for this show. But let's face some facts here too. They got to this dance. They got to this stage of payoff by doing what they've been doing. So they're basically being rewarded for what they have been doing thus far. So I'm not thinking we're going to get a lot of changes here.
Haven't been doing anything bad in the eyes of sponsors. They're that safe product. They're moving product. They got numbers. They're doing better than the fucking UFC is doing that aspect. So hell yeah, bring them in. UFC is going off to ESPN to their exclusive ESPN Plus deal. It's like, what the fuck? You guys are trying to get rid of this company? What the hell is going on? So good move on Fox, 100%.
With the UFC thing, are they still going to do stuff with Fox too?
They're done. That thing is going to be completely wrapped up.
Okay,
ESPN,
and that's next year too,
ESPN,
isn't it? Or is that later?
Yeah, that'll be next year, I believe. But ESPN bought, I forget exactly how many fights. I want to say 18 fights for the ESPN Plus app that they go on.
Yeah,
so that doesn't count the UFC Fight Pass that they have, which is their network. So it's like, okay, how am I going to trust your product when I can't even watch it when I have to subscribe to another ESPN product? So that's annoying on top of itself.
That would be like WWE going to Fox, but then moving Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and something else to the Fox streaming
Fox
deal
Now only
instead of the WWE network. Except it is a little bit different in that UFC does not stream all of their pay-per-views on their app, but just some of them.
They don't, but they do it in such a sloppy way, though. They're still doing like almost 1 to 2 pay-per-views a month, and they got all this Fox stuff that they're doing, and they got all their Fight Pass that they're stuff. So it's just so hard to keep up with the product. So that's why I'm kind of glad they're moving away from the Fox game a little bit, and ESPN kind of doubled down. They offered more money to UFC, so they're kind of sounds like they're going to be an ESPN exclusive thing going forward. So yeah, that leaves a lot of room, a lot of advertisement for Fox to kind of wrap up with right now.
Well, and to tie it back in with what's going on with WWE, Fox is going to be eager to promote WWE. They said that they're going to do like a half-hour or hour-long WWE like talk show on FS1 or whatever. Mm-hmm. So kind of like, because they do like a UFC show or whatever.
Yeah,
like
they'll do
desk
shows like
show.
that.
So they'll do something like that for WWE. That sounds like it might be kind of interesting. Kind of like a podcast on Fox. So that might be interesting. And the fact that WWE is going to have a weekly live show on the Fox network. I mean, that's fucking big. That's not cable TV.
And they're going to be promoted with NASCAR,
I could watch
football,
it every weekend.
baseball. They're going to be doing some mass publicity with it. I mean, so this is big, and it's not just big for WWE. It's big for Fox. They're going to be able to get more sponsorships out there, especially if they do move it up to a 3-hour show. And me personally, I
hope they don't.
I either hope Raw goes to 2 or hope SmackDown goes to 3, because SmackDown is going to have to be an equal or just as better of a product than Raw is.
Let's just make them both 2, please. Just 2.
You were going back to it before, but I personally think that they should incorporate the cruiserweights into Raw. Again, they have the 3-hour show, but if SmackDown goes 3 hours, it could work either way. You're still giving more time to that show, I think.
Or if SmackDown goes to 3 hours, just incorporate the cruiserweights to SmackDown and just do.
That's what I'm saying. It's not that hard. That's really what they're doing, and really. Is 3 hours really that much of a hindrance when we got fast fucking forward on DVRs nowadays?
And that's the thing too, is that I'm
not watching SmackDown on a Friday night. Sorry, I got better things to be fucking doing. Tuesday nights.
I don't. I'm almost 40 years old, and Friday is technically my Tuesday.
I'm not saying I'm going out and partying or anything, but
no, I know.
I might be out in my backyard fucking grilling over SmackDown.
No, I hear you. And you're exactly right in that. A lot of people, including myself, are not watching the entirety of Raw and SmackDown. It's pick your poison, watch the clips on YouTube. It's just too much, especially when it's Monday and Tuesday, which is why I like also the move to Friday.
And we're going to have to wait a year for that.
The 3-hour thing,
year and a half.
Just wait an hour and a half. Fucking, you get caught up by the main event with the fast forwarding. It just save yourself some time. You don't need to watch it live.
Correct.
Let's live tweet this shit.
technically that's supposed to be the big hook here, is that WWE is live programming, and live programming is very rare to get these days, and it's very valuable, and that's why we're paying WWE $2 billion over 5 years for these products.
2.35
WWE is not changing. Even how much we were all praying that some Fox executive looks at the SmackDown product and says, let's do something drastically different and change everything around and make it amazing. It's not going to happen. It's going to stay exactly the same as it is now.
Yep.
It's still going to be Vince McMahon in charge, because that's what brought him to the dance. That's what made him this $2 billion deal. So it's not
playing to the sponsorships. It's what the NFL does. It's the NBA does. It's what all the big wigs do.
But look at we're still fans. We're still talking about it. We're still watching. We haven't stopped watching yet. So until we stop, why would they stop giving them money? So that's the thing. If you don't like what they're doing, just don't watch and go watch New Japan or something.
Yeah,
go watch
something else.
There's so much good stuff out there. There's Progress. There's New Japan. There's Ring of Honor. There's millions of other promotions that you could enjoy. So
or watch WWE and take yourself out of the fucking back room too. Like, I'm sick of everyone jumping on dicks of like, oh, this producer produced this match segment, and no, that's not your job. You don't need to know that shit.
Fuck off.
Well, I do understand though where people come from with regard to that, because it almost stand like Roman Reigns matches when there's like 5-minute chin lock spots so that the guy that's going against Roman Reigns doesn't get over. I'm going down that road. Going down that road. Getting negative. Getting negative now.
It's just sometimes we need to just watch. We know what it is. We know what we're expecting every fucking week with WWE.
Yeah. All right. Other news. Taco, what's going on with this Global Force thing?
Oh, my God.
God, we need to all fucking, like, all hell Jeff Jarrett at this fucking point. I don't know.
No.
I don't know
I
how
refuse.
the fucking point.
The man will be president of the United States
keep
someday.
like, hey, I got the semi-truck, and I hear you need some gold. Let me just drop it off in your fucking yard for you. You know what? Let me melt it down and just give you that cash straight up front. Like, apparently he's setting up a deal with Fight TV to do some more wrestling and podcast and media extravaganza.
What a carny.
I don't know how he does it.
Possible?
He's a fucking, and now he's going to get more money because he's a WWE Hall of Famer. Like, what the fuck?
I don't get it.
How?
I don't get it.
Is this dick bigger than Hangman Page's? Like, what the fuck?
So this isn't to air the old Global Force footage that they already taped years
Impact
ago?
owns all of that. Anthem owns all of those videos. But I believe Jeff Jarrett still owns Global Force Wrestling and all that stuff.
Okay, great.
So, I don't understand why people keep thinking this is a good fucking idea.
Who's he going to get to wrestle for him?
Can I be his business partner? Just tag along and see how he does his shit? Like, what the fuck?
Is he going to team up with Billy Corgan? They're going to start the new NWA. Nope, that's not going to happen. It didn't work. They tried that in TNA. It didn't work. They got upset with each other. I'm changing.
But this is, one of the things that makes me, interested though is it's on Fight TV, and is that going to affect Ring of Honor down the road? Are they going to go more?
Shouldn't.
No, not
with their Honor Club though. Like this week it's really tough. You got Honor Club. I'm trying to watch the Ring of Honor television on there, and it's not on there. I had to go to Fight TV.
You know what was weird is I was able to watch Ring of Honor TV when I used the Ring of Honor app on my phone, but when I went to it on the website because I was going to grab a soundbite for the show or something, and I wasn't on the regular website, but it was on the app.
Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't find it on the website, but it was on the app. So they need to get on top of that shit. How did we get on the topic of Ring of Honor TV? We were talking.
Well, Jeff Jarrett, but that's what I was saying. Fight TV. I don't know if this is gonna,
it
will this at all. I know they got others, but
Fight TV's got a bunch. I mean, you can order the Ring of Honor pay-per-views, the Ring of Honor Honor Club stuff on there individually. You can order the TNA pay-per-view or Impact pay-per-views on there. You can order Japanese stuff on there. All Japan was doing stuff on there before they started their streaming service. All kinds of different promotions. It's just a place for promotions to throw their pay-per-views or whatever. So I guess that sounds like this that Jeff Jarrett's going to try to add some content and make some money. So
how does he do it?
I mean, I'm probably not going to buy it, but I mean, if something sounds like it's going to be really good,
you
who
don't
knows?
buy some Global Force Gold?
I do not. I want to change the topic one more time here on the news segment.
Global Force. Bitcoins.
No, we're not talking any more Global Force. I'm banning Global Force from the show.
What about TNA?
No! TNA doesn't exist. It's Impact. We could talk Impact at some point if one of us ever watches it and has something to say.
Fucking pop.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It's hard to watch if you don't have the TV station. Let's one more subject in the news. This UK tournament has been fully announced. We got both of the brackets. This thing's going to be taking place on June 18th and 19th. Basically, the entire tournament is going to take place on the 18th, and then the winner takes on Pete Dunne for the United Kingdom Championship on the 19th.
Right
so
on.
The winner of the tournament is going to have presumably 3 grueling matches, 3 or 4 in a day.
Make them work for it.
And then have to face Pete Dunne the next day, who's fresh. So in kayfabe sense, hell, even in real life sense, that's kind of tough.
That's brutal.
And also on the 19th, all of the other NXT championships are going to be defended on that show. So we got a pretty cool mid-June deal going on here.
Hell yeah.
So we'll look forward to that. The brackets are Zach Gibson taking on Amir Jordan, Drew Gulak taking on Jack Gallagher, which has actually already been taped at Full Sail, that match. Flash Morgan Webster taking on James Drake. Tyson T-Bone is taking on Jordan Devlin. Then the other side of the bracket, Tucker versus Joe Coffey. Dave Mastiff versus Kenny Williams. Ligero versus Travis Banks. Ashton Smith versus Joseph Connors to
There's
wrap
a guy
out.
just named Tucker.
That's what it says. Tucker. Tucker. It's not Tucker Knight, just Tucker. No, that's it. That's who's on it. So we'll look forward to that coming mid-June. All right, we talked about our favorite things, and yes, we do like to try to keep it positive on this show, but we do like to talk about some of the things that bother us. Let's talk about our pet peeves.
Change the subject.
Sit, Ubu, sit.
Pet peeves.
Good dog.
Taco, what is your pet peeve this week?
Ooh. That fucking gauntlet on Raw was fucking a definite boner kill.
Yeah, I mean, hold on a minute. Hold on. This does not seem in the true nature of the show here.
That is so profane
Taco.
and rude.
I think I know what you're saying. The internet has been screaming about this match. If you're all about women's revolution and women's equality, and 2 months ago you had a gauntlet match that went for 2 hours on Monday Night Raw, you go into the
And Rollins shined out of that.
correct, but then you get with 15 minutes left to the top of the hour on Monday Night Raw is when you start the 7-woman gauntlet match. My gripe is pretty much the same as everybody's on that one.
Closing the night out there. No fucking intertwining feuds or anything. Just get the Riott Squad out there and wrap it up. Let's go home.
And yeah, this was to determine the final spot in the women's Money in the Bank as well. Was it Sasha Banks that ended up winning it in the end? To me, with the story, I'll try to spin it to some positivity here. I think the idea was to get Ruby Riott over. She had a nice little run there in the middle. Certainly not anything to a Seth Rollins extent, but it worked. She got over. Banks got the win. She's in the match. This did nothing for Bayley. That did nothing for the 2 other members of the Riott Squad, I thought.
Nothing for Sasha to me.
No, I mean, she won, so she's in it.
That's it.
Yeah, but I think with 2 weeks out, why not throw all of these 7 women in like a tournament situation and have them actually have competitive matches where somebody gets over, but instead they just throw them all out there with 15 minutes left. Yes, I completely agree with this pet peeve this week. Joe, what is your pet peeve?
Well, I'm just sick of squash matches for, like, honestly, indie veterans. As horrible as it sounds, I get it. WWE's got to run you through the ringer and stuff, but this is fucking War Machine. I'm not calling them War Raiders. It's fucking War Machine.
War Raiders.
It doesn't make sense. They just obliterate these poor guys, and then you go on the same sense going into Raw that they utilize the jobber for what they needed to. I get it. Everybody's angry of the treatment of the jobber and that Nia's a bully, which I don't believe for one. But She's a jobber. She's
Why?
there to get her
Why?
ass kicked.
What the fuck are we doing? What is an exhibition on... What is this? There's a ref there, but Nia's got a microphone.
And I'm not defending the whole thing because it was quite horrible.
All right, to your first point, Squad, because I think you originally wanted to talk about this because of the
War Machine.
War Raiders
Yes,
match
War
on
Machine.
NXT. I disagree. I like squash matches, especially on an NXT format because it's a short show. We get to see War Raiders. We get to see their offense, their signature moves.
And that crowd's not that.
We're not going to see that with
them.
other tag teams?
No,
Who
well,
are more experienced and can handle them better?
You can, but the idea here is all we're trying to do is get War Machine over, especially to the side of the audience that doesn't know War. Yeah, a lot of people know who War Machine is. A lot of the Full Sail crowd is reacting well to War Machine, but if you are sitting at home and all you watch is NXT and Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, you may have heard of War Machine, you understand the reaction, but you need to see how they are established. Oh, Ace 10 Mao, he does the flip over thing.
What they look
Hanson
like?
doing the flip. Hanson doing all of his shtick. It establishes them, and so I like it. I disagree with your pet peeve in that respect. But if we're going to go to what the fuck was going on Monday, I know I missed last week. I must have missed the most epic of heel turns for Nia Jax we have ever. She was the biggest baby face. She was touting the efforts of the anti-bullying campaign. The WWE's corporate mantra was being shouted from the rooftops after defeating the evil bully Alexa Bliss. But now it turns out Alexa Bliss was 100% right. Nia Jax is this giant bully doing this bullshit exhibition, whatever the fuck that is, with a microphone in her hand, tossing this poor lady around.
This is how I'm gonna treat your armbar, which, if you want to rewind, not even 6 months ago, she was tapping out to an armbar.
Yep. I will give you that.
So what did I miss last week? What was
last week was fucking fine. Joe even brought it up last week.
Big heel turn,
true.
right?
It was just fucking a handshake, no table smashing, contract signing. We never did find out if they signed those fucking contracts.
Yeah, we didn't.
But you're telling me there was no
Nothing.
heel turn?
Nothing.
This doesn't make any sense.
No social media
Nia
bullshit.
is the bully. Alexa was right.
You are both fucking wrong. She's a fucking champion. All she's doing, again, she's using the jobber to her correct job. She is jobbing to her ass. There's no reason for her to have any offense. 2, she is a champion. She is a champion and showing why she's champion. And that's all she is. She didn't do anything to make me feel like she's a fucking bully.
Okay, I can kind of see what you're saying, but
I like that butt.
what was I've been waiting to use that for weeks.
That's nice.
I'm so glad you got it.
That is so good.
I forgot I had it, actually. I did not like Ronda Rousey being, doing the pouty, angry face coming to the ring and not
her normal face?
No, that's what she does. That's her pissed off. I'm gonna fight.
I understand. But then she didn't do anything. She just stood there like a bitch. I'm sorry to use the B word when talking about women, but she looked like a punk. She didn't do anything, and Nia was just like, I'm champion. And I get it, she's the big heel because of the big heel turn last week, right? So, but still, I thought Rousey looked like a punk here. I don't know. Am I wrong?
The whole thing was just a clusterfuck. Like, Nia didn't come off strong to me at all. Like, put her in. She should have did that to fucking what's her face that was in the Brooke.
Clinton.
At least whoop Dana Brooke's ass. At least whoop like Dana Brooke's ass. Someone who is actually a WWE superstar, not a no-name person, and call out Ronda Rousey and talk all this shit. Like, it missed the mark. Everything
and
missed the
again,
mark.
I am not defending the segment at all. It was a horrible segment altogether. All I'm saying is I don't think she came off as a bully.
What else?
She came off as a person who has a championship belt and she's fucking on top. That's it.
And far from that for me.
Well, I guess this week.
Well, you're fucking wrong.
This week, I guess, was the big heel turn. Anyway,
we'll have to see how it goes.
Too far into this shit.
We're being incredibly negative, and we have one more pet peeve to go, and it is also part of the women's division. Speaking of the women's revolution and everything wonderful going on, how about that awesome SmackDown Diva dance-off?
Baby!
I saw a thing on Twitter. Somebody posted a picture of Lana shaking her assets, and it just said wrestling. It was like, yeah, what are we doing here? It's the Divas, it's the women's revolution. We're touting all this great stuff for women, and we're having a dance-off. What are we doing here? I mean, I guess to give it a little bit of credit, it was all to set up the mixed tag thing next week. This is WWE.
I'm more mad about the mixed tag match thing than I am the actual dance-off. Dance-off to me this week was fucking whatever.
It was
holiday week, everything's fucking just like there's one step back on
and
everything.
They do. This is WWE too. They do dance-offs with men.
And honestly, it wasn't one of the worst dance-offs we've ever seen in a fucking wrestling Raw or SmackDown ring. There have been worse fucking shit that happened like this. But what gets me is we're going to have the married couple fight Lana and Aiden English next week. Wait, we're not going to have a married couple fight married couple have a mixed match challenge rematch? We can't advertise that? No. What are we doing?
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity.
What are we doing
there? Just a missed opportunity.
Anyway.
They just like making Taco pissed off.
I feel like we're being very, very negative, but it was Lana shaking her butt. So I
like that butt.
And Naomi, come on.
It was fun. True. I liked, they both were coming from dancing backgrounds. I actually liked Lana getting the upper hand too in this, and kind of enticing Naomi to come in and be like, yeah, we're having fun, and then her getting the fucking lock. Drop, whatever the fucking thing. She got the upper hand in there, so I did like that aspect.
Yeah, well, you're upset about the isn't it a 6-way mixed tag or is it just?
Nope.
It's Aiden and Lana. Are you sure?
Pretty
I thought it was a 6-way. You confused me there.
I feel like
Joe's
Magic
gonna
Johnson
look it up.
positive right now.
All right,
don't worry, I'm Googling it. You guys just keep doing what you gotta do.
Well, you keep believing that, and maybe that'll get turned into a negative eventually. Anyway. All right, let's talk about our favorite moments from Monday Night Raw.
Subject: Monday Night Raw.
Let's get back to the positivity, shall we?
Like I said, Magic Johnson.
All right, you deserve it this time.
That is so profane, Taco. And rude.
Taco, what was your favorite moment from Monday Night Raw this week?
Last week it got a lot of heat, especially, I don't know, we kind of dove into it a little bit last week, but the Sammy Wow Wow and Bob Lashley segment.
Bob Lashley.
I thought it was a little better this week. I like that,
Taco wins.
Sammy Wow Wow even told you.
That's really what they're doing?
Yeah. Let's not
Naomi and Jimmy Uso to face Lana and Aiden English next
Let's
Tuesday.
not have Rusev Day fight the Uso family. No, let's not do anything that makes sense at all. Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's have the chick that was talking behind Aiden English's back and... I don't fucking... You trying to suck my dick, Joe?
Let's go back to the positivity, shall we?
Yeah.
Oh, why won't it play this?
Don't you dare be sour.
But Sammy Wow Wow coming out with the apology, putting on the fucking dad glasses and looking straight into the fucking hard cam, eye to eye with it. Like, just the setup was perfect. I love Sammy Wow Wow's apology and everything. And then I actually even enjoyed Lashley coming out too and poking fun with it. So
it was the non-apology apology.
Exactly.
Yep.
But it was him getting some good heat a little bit, kind of being a smarmy fucking prick, and
he's getting better every week.
Oh, he's fucking a great heel. It's just getting him out of stupid shit like fighting over a fucking who wears a hat better. So I thought they.
That's how this whole thing started.
That's how it all fucking started was over a hat.
Anyway.
So I thought he did really well this week, or kind of going 360 with it and turning that negative segment to something, getting some laughs out of Sami Zayn,
And I thought,
and then Lashley even came across really well.
Yeah, I thought Lashley came across.
So it was just
really well. Yeah.
good for both guys in a feud. That's like, can we move this? Can we get someone? Can we have a hat on a pole match or something? Like, can we have a definitive winner of the hat, please?
I think so. Are they going to do the singles match at Money in the Bank? I don't remember.
Yes. Oh, and I even totally enjoyed the spot of fucking Zayn too. Not backing down to Bobby Lashley. He's like, oh, it's gonna be a different story when I
Sammy Wow Wow.
give you that haluva kick, and there's them shaking hands and just fucking Bobby Lashley's a powerful fucking dude. He's an MMA fighter, so him getting that fucking death grip on Sammy's fucking hand and him like, no, please stop it. Let me go. It was perfect. So yeah, good spot.
And I've just been really enjoying Bobby Lashley in this, just because while yes, he's there to make money, he's getting a good paycheck for coming back. It really does just seem like he's having fun with everything he does. He's just enjoying being in the ring. He's enjoying being in front of a WWE crowd again, and that's kind of nice to have with wrestlers sometimes.
And I'm glad they got away from the sisters and the goofiness of last week that I did not see but heard all about. Heard how awful that stuff was last week. So, Joe, we already talked about Nia Jax, but I kind of wanted to bring up the Seth Rollins stuff. He's really been killing it in these matches on Monday Night Raw. We did have the kind of the clunky finish here where he gets disqualified for.
It's explainable though. It furthers the story along with this feud, and I actually, it's one of the few times I enjoyed a DQ finish, because again, you got the babyface finally just pissed off like, fuck this.
Right, because it was such bullshit, because the referee ejects the Singh guy. It takes the referee forever. He's out of the fucking ring. Then the asshole comes back. It's like, why isn't he disqualifying him instantly with this guy coming back to the ringside? So Seth is he's irate. He goes off on him with a chair. So we'll get a continuation of this. But I mean, Jinder hung in there with Seth Rollins. It was Seth's been putting on these really great matches, and Jinder didn't feel out of place in this situation here. And we didn't have any Roman Reigns on this show, so that was interesting. Wow. So no interplay between Reigns and Jinder here. So I suppose they're going to save that for the match next week. Maybe Roman will be the equalizer for the Singh brother or something along those lines.
Oh yeah,
and get involved.
Sounds intriguing,
because they're obviously building to Roman. Well, they were building to Roman and Jinder, but maybe they're getting away from it this week. Who knows? And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up from Monday Night Raw was the B Team barbecue. This one's getting a lot of heat mostly because it took up time in that third hour. Maybe took some time away from that women's gauntlet match that we brought up in the pet peeves thing. But and again, on the negative side of the ledger, it really kind of pointed out the weak tag team lineup that's there on Monday Night Raw. It's like, this is what we're working with here.
They're bitching about unseasoned food.
But I was angry that AOP wasn't just standing there.
Yeah,
not eating, but just standing there.
Yeah, they weren't even there, which was strange. Or they should have at least come out and taken everybody else out. But what you said, Taco, I thought Titus O'Neil shined in this segment, and it's rare for me to not completely skip over Titus O'Neil. But yeah, I thought
even Rhino was hilarious.
Yeah,
his chair. It was funny.
It's a dumb WWE thing that they do on these holiday shows. I get it. I understand everybody that's negative on the thing, but I got a kick out of some of it.
Let them have their fun.
Yeah, and but on the complete opposite side, I totally agree with everybody that's bitching about the women's segment not getting more time. So I'm with everybody there. So I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm a complete hypocrite, and I don't care.
All I know is for my next barbecue, I'm getting some potato salad.
Let's talk some.
What about some Bodogs?
Let's talk some Smackdown Live, if I can get this thing to fire here.
I already told you I'm not saying Green Day.
Smackdown Live. Players, I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Holla.
What about barbecue ribs?
That's what I thought. Whatevs.
Joe, what was your Smackdown moment this week?
The Good Brothers promo and then the Bludgeon Brothers promo. You've got, I mean, the Good Brothers have been nailing it. And while I wasn't on the nerd train when they first came in, they've won me over because they've toned it down. I don't hear really any of the skis anymore, thank God. He's moved on.
He moves on. They sneak him in there. They sneak him in there.
They sneak him in there that I don't even hear them, which is good. All I need is an absolutely, and I'm good.
Bludgeon Brothers!
And I don't think I'm as excited as on the Bludgeon Brothers side as you are, just because I'm so over this one. Like, they're just saying words now.
Yeah, no, we're liquefied human remains. Like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, what is going on here? That was so.
I would much rather hear about Carl Anderson's hot Asian wife.
I'm 100% with you. Carl Anderson is in the shape of his life. He's got his abs on point for his hot Asian wife. Loved the Good Brothers talking here. The Bludgeon Brothers. What the fuck was that? Yeah, the liquefied human remains is like the most ridiculous thing.
I don't remember who even said it when they came back.
Metal song.
When they came back from the promo, and actually someone's just like, liquefied human remains?
Yeah.
Really?
Bludgeon Brothers!
Taco, what's your Smackdown?
Gotta start just shouting that at people.
For the record, I'm on the Bludgeon Brothers train. I love this nonsense.
They're a great team.
I'm still digging what Paige has been doing on SmackDown, though. You know, it was making the right judgment call, throwing Cass into that, you know, the main event for that. You know,
ooh, I'm gonna throw some kayfabe at you with that one. So okay, you think Paige made the right move, throwing Big Cass? If we look at if this was real life, okay, so Big Cass loses to Daniel Bryan at the pay-per-view, then he beats up Daniel Bryan after the match. Where are the consequences for the after post-match beatdown? Should he not be fined or suspended? Instead, he gets rewarded with a match against Samoa Joe. He can't show up for that because he's injured because Daniel Bryan is awesome. So they give Daniel Bryan the match because he beat Big Cass and deserves the shot. Then Cass shows up because he's medically cleared, and Paige's like, oh my God, even though he lost and even though he was an asshole and beat the guy he lost to up after the match, he deserves a match anyway. But
he sounds a bit sour.
He's always sour.
I know, right? God, I'm shitting all over your point, which I do like what Paige is doing. So I'm sorry for being so fucking sour.
Don't you dare be sour!
I was away from WWE for a week, and now I'm back, and it doesn't make any sense. So continue with your point, Taco.
No, I can't go further than that.
Well, I wanted to add something then to your point with the Paige.
I can't beat that. I can't follow up to that. That's like following up to Sam Kinison. You just slayed.
The humanity! Oh! People are turning off the podcast at this point. But what was my other point on Paige? The skit between Becky Lynch and Charlotte backstage. Those two talking back and forth. I did like the little thing of Paige walking in the background, noticing this little back and forth between, we're going to put you two in a singles match. And while I didn't like the skit aspect of it and the scripted lines and the crap, I'm looking forward to this match next week between those two.
I did like the scripted bullshit between that, because it was just like, you know, we've seen them in those scripted bullshit all the time, like,
right.
Tea time. It's like,
I like
cool.
the tea time thing. It doesn't feel as scripted, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'd rather them beating the shit out of each other in that ring. That's what they're there to do.
Yeah,
and that's what you want to see, though.
Right.
So,
I need Becky Lynch.
I like that they finally were going back and forth a little bit.
No, we don't.
It was a good moment, and then I like that Paige was like, oh, hey, not so chummy right now, are you? Let's fight. Like, let's fucking get out there. Let's see some dominance. Let's see who's the better woman. Like, this is what we fucking need. We need some fire in there, not this fucking gauntlet shit we're getting on Raw.
And then she's like, yeah, remember Team BME or whatever it was?
Like, I'm glad we're at least getting fucking Mandy Rose losing to Asuka. You know, at least we're getting a fucking match.
PCB, PB Army, ASAP,
WTF, BBQ
PCB.
sauce.
Anyway,
WTF, barbecue sauce.
I'm gonna bring up this the Nakamura and Ty Dillinger match, just because it was Nakamura. I don't know why did I take this one anyway.
Best part of this match was the promo before the match of Nakamura just walking with the numbers 2, 3.
That really was the best part. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. They're putting Nakamura over. They're putting him in spots to look good. And even though he's the heel, he's still really over with the crowd, which is kind of interesting here too. But I like this build up between Nakamura and AJ. I remember why I was going to bring this up. It was because of I'm ranting a lot today. Here comes another one. Over on Strong Honor, there was a match in part of the Best of the Super Juniors where they did the standing 10 count in the match where both men are down and the ref starts counting to 10. This used to be something normal and in every pro wrestling match ever. You'd see it all the time. A double down, and you count until one guy gets, if one guy gets up, you still continue to count the other guy down. And technically, the rule is, even if one guy is down, you count the one guy down. It's like the boxing rule, the standing 10 count. Yep. And that has disappeared from modern pro wrestling. As a matter of fact, in the New Japan match I watched, it was in that one match, the one time I'd seen it in eons, and in the following match, it was gone again. They were doing double downs, no count, same referee. I'm like, what's going on here? And so the way you should set up a last man standing match is, I don't know, have one man survive the standing 10 count, and then you have the rematch where the stipulation is this is the only way to win is by winning the last man standing match. They didn't do that. It doesn't make sense. WWE never does. But they're building up another match between Nakamura and AJ. I don't know if we'll get a clean win. Finally, I kind of hope so. I'm kind of tired of it at this point. It hasn't really delivered on the level that we as fans have wanted. They've been good matches, but they haven't been like, oh my god, great matches. But
it's because
God, I'm negative today.
When you make like a whole like fucking big ass pan of like
for a week.
triple fudge brownies, and you eat one of them, you're like, oh fuck, that was good, and then you just keep eating another one, you eat another one, you're like, too much. Just you're fucking sick.
We've been having too many brownies.
Someone online, I forget their name, pointed out with Dillinger though, that should be his gimmick going forward, is refusing to take anything less than a 10 count on opponents. Keep them down, like go for that 10. Like
sure.
This motherfucker needs something. Like I'm sick of him. Like I didn't even like him on TV this week. Like just do something with him. It's just there's so much fucking talent out there right now, and I dog on the guy a lot, but did you see his fucking haircut this week? Come on, how are you calling yourself the fucking perfect 10? You are far from it. He needs a redo.
I did like the spot where Nakamura hit him 9 times or whatever, then he escapes and gives him the 10.
Yeah,
I did get a kick.
Because again, that's the only thing he's got is fighting from underneath, and even when he does that, he generally loses.
All right, let's talk.
Yeah, it's.
Let's talk a little NXT this week.
Change the subject.
NXT.
Joe, what's your NXT moment this week?
Well, I mean, we can talk about the match itself, but just Nikki Cross coming out and getting in freaking Shayna Baszler's face. Like, I've been waiting weeks for this. I want this match to happen. It's two completely different styles. And then we just I haven't got enough Nikki Cross. I believe she's Scottish, right?
Something like
that. This crazy Scottish woman needs to tear up this NXT women's division at this point. She's really the only challenger left for Shayna Baszler, and I love the setup of just, she's almost protecting Dakota Kai at this point.
Yeah, well, and she was the one that built up you gotta challenge her. You gotta get in that ring and have a match. Like, it was Nikki Cross who built her up, gave her that confidence. I liked the match told a nice story where Dakota Kai is completely petrified by Shayna Baszler,
just helpless,
running away, looking like completely useless in the ring, but finally makes a big comeback late, but it's not quite enough, and loses, of course, to Shayna Baszler, and then Baszler continues badgering and attacking her after, and Nikki Cross making the save, stealing the belt as Baszler tries to walk away.
Mine.
And then just putting the belt down in the ring. I love that bit where she's like, come and get it. And then she steals it again. And then Nikki Cross actually challenging her to a match right now for the championship. Dakota Kai, you're the referee.
Yeah, right now. That's how it works.
Right now.
So it was not an official match, of course, but Dakota Kai counted a quick 3 count. What was it? It was a normal.
I thought it was a fair 3.
It was a fair 3 count after a quick move. It was just one. She just hit her finisher and boom, 1, 2, 3. Nikki Cross got the quote win. So,
but if this is what we're setting up for NXT Takeover, and obviously it is, I'm excited.
Ooh, yeah.
Absolutely.
What?
A 1 falls match.
Oh, nice.
Taco, what was your NXT moment this week?
Ooh, Bianca Belair's promo, the continuation of her promo. I'm really liking this lady. I'm liking the shit that she's been doing, and these promos have just been furthering that. I like that they're kind of going to her history a little bit, or how athletic she was in her childhood and through high school and college, and her just like downplay like. I barely fucking tried, I just showed up, like staying in character with that.
It was it was the subtle heelness.
Looking at someone like Roddy, Roddy's story when they were telling his, it was very deep, very personal, made you care for him, and then you're looking how they're presenting hers, and that subtle heelness, just straight cocky, and like my family did this, they did this, I couldn't settle anything for this, I could only set myself for higher standards, so. She's shining. She's been shining since they really been putting that camera on her, and she's one of those ladies too. Like she said in that the video package, she didn't come from the background of pro wrestling. She's just an athletic person who got picked up by the Performance Center, and she's outshining a lot of these ladies out there, and she has a bright future, and I'm definitely keeping my eyes on her. I like what she's doing,
and even talking a little shit there. Like I see people looking at me when I'm in there lifting weights, and I didn't come from the indie scene. I'm homegrown, baby.
Homegrown.
But I'm surpassing everybody that's coming in. So I like it.
And then just like seeing her on social media, her Montez Ford are a couple, and they're just a fucking golden couple, dude. Like. They're inspirations for people out there, not just couple wise, but for just goal wise. Like, those two. There's a lot of money to be made there with those two people. So.
I really like what they're doing with Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. I did go back and watch last week's NXT, the handicap match versus Lars Sullivan.
Yes.
We didn't know to talk about Lars, but he's looking cool. He took out Aleister Black this week on the road to the Takeover Chicago. That was cool. But I like what they're doing with Velveteen and Ricochet. Talk about some swagger with Ricochet there. But the opposite, the babyface swagger, I think, is more on his side, and just After Velveteen took him out last week, he's got attitude, comes out and makes has a really cool match with fucking Donovan Dijak or Chris Dijak.
Chris.
Donovan's brother Chris.
Chris doing fucking springboards and going crazy, but Ricochet being Ricochet and making it look even better. And then, calling out Velveteen after the match, and Velveteen saying, this is my spotlight. It's my time. Anything you do, I can do better. Then Ricochet flips out of the ring, lands
onto the floor,
lands on his feet, gets right in his face and says, prove it or do it or whatever he said. And the look on Velveteen's face, he's just...
he was hard.
He was...
I was hard.
He was...
We all were.
I can't explain...
Rock on!
I can't explain it any better than Taco just did.
That is so profane.
Taco.
And rude.
4 times this episode?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Might be a new record. But that perfect. I love that story. It's the one moment where Velveteen was like, your pretty face or something, and Ricochet just kind of nods like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I know. That was amazing. Great.
Even Ricochet's reaction when Velveteen's music hit, just like, fuck, I didn't even get to finish what I was saying.
It was funny too. It's one of those WWE things where if music plays, you can no longer talk. You have to stop talk. You cannot finish your point. Microphones are turned off. There's only one sound allowed at a time. Don't you dare talk over each other. My God. So, but it sounded like he was about to challenge him for Chicago, and that's of course what the whole segment was about. But it was like he didn't get to challenge him first, and here comes Velveteen, and in fact, Velveteen challenged me. Damn it!
It's good though because it's no secret that Ricochet isn't. His strongest point necessarily isn't on the microphone, but since being in NXT, he's definitely stepped up to that. He's been rocking that microphone work. And this was one of those moments where it's like, fuck, like watching, I was like, God damn, man, he's on ball, and then boom, cock blocked, Velveteen Dream comes out, and then like you said, like Ricochet made a face like, you motherfucker. And it's like, dude, I feel you, like you had it. This was your moment, this is your spotlight. Like, so yeah, good shit here. It's gonna be a fucking banger of a match.
All right, a couple more things before we get out of here. I want to do a quick Strong Honor preview.
Change the subject. Strong Honor.
So, yeah, we did an entire episode of Strong Honor talking about the best of the Super Juniors. Ring of Honor from the UK tour this past weekend, and Ring of Honor TV, of course, and being the elite. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. My favorite thing, one of my favorite things from this past week's on being the elite, and the last few weeks are the SoCal Uncensored on being the elite. Every city they go to, they hate because they're from SoCal. All they want to do is get back to SoCal. And they cut this fucking promo on being the elite.
What's this place called? Doncaster, England? Doncaster. Oh, no, Doncaster is great. Doncaster is not great. Fun fact, they invented the toothbrush here?
I don't think so.
No, because if they invented it anywhere else, it would have been called the teeth brush. Just a bunch of toothless douchebags. Right. This place sucks.
So, yeah, we talk about some more of that over on Strong Honor, and really enjoying SCU.
And one thing I'm going to actually bring up that I didn't even bring up on Strong Honor. I'm sorry. I'm enjoying Jay Lethal and freaking being the elite.
Yes.
What was it? The Rockers this week? He got the young buck. He turns into Macho Man and thinks it's the Rockers standing in front of him. Awesome. He has just been killing it. I don't care what anybody says. He has so much fun with that Macho Man gimmick. Yeah. Well worth it.
Yes. And then the Young Bucks are like, we've heard that before. Next thing you're going to be calling us Edge and Christian or something like that. So yeah, that was cool too. And then the other thing from that's going on over in the Best of the Super Juniors, Marty Scurll's post-match promos have just been amazing recently. And he started off slow, had a couple losses, but he's making the comeback of the century, and he's planning on facing the champion Will Ospreay at Dominion if he can get there.
You might as well call me the Numpty Hunter, because this is the comeback of a century. I might have lost my first two matches, but it was all a ploy. It was all a big trick. It was to make people think that the villain had fallen and he had no chance of winning the Best of Super Juniors. But I knew exactly what I was doing. I'm going to beat Will Ospreay, become IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion once again. Oh, and I'm also going to break Will Ospreay's fucking neck.
So I've been enjoying those aspects of it.
Yeah.
Can't not enjoy that.
Exactly. So we promised the listeners that we were going to start a new segment on the show.
Change the subject.
Called the Retro Recommendation.
Retro Recommendation.
Now, this is something we were supposed to start this week, but we didn't, obviously, with me out of town, we didn't establish doing anything. So we're not going to do one this week, but we are going to announce the one that we're going to do next week. So if you want to watch the match and follow along and, get at us on social media and give your opinions on what we're talking about. So the retro recommendation we're going to do for next week is the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match.
WrestleMania. WrestleMania 21 in 2005.
There you go. It was Edge versus Chris Benoit versus Chris Jericho, who, of course, came up with the concept of the Money in the Bank ladder match. Shelton Benjamin, Kane, and Christian are in this one. So we're going to watch that. We'll talk about it next week. Perfect timing building up to Money in the Bank here.
Let us know what your favorite Money in the Bank match is. And if you have another pick for us to watch, maybe we can look at doing it maybe even the following week.
Correct. Yeah, get at us on all the social media. You can find all the social media links in the description to the show, by the way. So if you don't remember them when we spout them off at the end of the show, go there. And, of course, the website, bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. You can always email the show if you don't have the social media gimmicks, bestprowrestlingpodcast@gmail.com.
Isn't it pronounced at gmail?
Probably.
Gmail.com.
All right, before we get out of here, we have to go over our matches of the week.
Match of the week.
Joe, what is your match of the week?
My match of the week is Cedric versus Buddy Murphy on 205 Live.
Yeah.
They gave it some serious time. I feel like it went over 20 minutes or damn close to it.
And for the Cruiserweight Championship, of course.
And one thing I really liked is they played to both of their factors. You know, you have Buddy Murphy. He was hitting him with slow power moves, slowing down Cedric, not letting him get momentum. And then they played it up of him cutting him, Cedric every time he just a little bit, Buddy Murphy would cut him off. And I think this is probably Buddy Murphy's best showing for me. Obviously, probably the longest match Buddy Murphy I've seen from
singles.
Buddy Murphy. But I feel like this is a great move for him. He's got the attitude to be that evil, I'm the juggernaut of the cruiserweight division. So I'm liking what they're doing here. He could be a factor.
And they did a good job throughout the past few, month or so. So even ever since Buddy Murphy came back, or came to 205 Live, really, just building up to this match. And then throughout the episode itself, I thought they did a nice job of just showing the guys in the back warming up. It didn't come off as bullshitty or contrived or typical WWE stuff. It was just a nice kind of sports-like feel and build up to the match. And I like the sit-down interviews that they did with them building up on the show as well.
Well, I like that they were actually asking them, like, who do you pick to win? Like, who are you going to feel like is going to win? And I love Mustafa Ali. He's just like, you're not going to beat Cedric. I'm going to beat Cedric.
Taco, what is your match of the week?
Ooh. God, there's just so many barn burners this week. I'm going to bring up the EC3 and Fabian Eichner.
I'm upset that it wasn't Scissor Banana, but
we
more
all
Scissor
were.
Banana.
Where is Scissor Banana?
He must have pissed somebody off.
On a night where we're talking about War Machine squashing some no-name jobbers to Nia Jax, a champion, squashing a no-name jobber.
War Raiders.
Yeah, War Machine.
We get EC3 in an actual match against someone who's not a no-namer. They're actually an employee of the company. So, this was a match that highlighted EC3 and his moves and his fucking music and his cockiness and his smug fucking prick haircut that you like so much, and that shitty fucking theme that you're jacking off to, Joe.
Top 1%, bitch.
It just showcased the EC3 personnel so well. And it also, got to showed off Ackner. The dude does put on some good spots.
Guy can get some fucking air.
He gets air, yeah. Fucking, every time he shows up to be in these matches, in these spots, we know he's going to fucking lose, but he still shows up. He's still getting his name and his face over.
Well, and the spot that led to Eichner getting his offense in was the story was that Gargano and Ciampa were banned from the building due to the brawl last week that took out Candice LeRae. Well, Johnny Gargano comes storming in, drops off his signed contract for the street fight that they're going to have, and
in the middle of the
match, it distracts EC3. He's like, "What the fuck's going on here? This is my match. It's my spotlight. This is my stupid, awesome haircut."
Right?
And that the distraction leads to Eichner getting a couple of big moves in, and then EC3 takes him out. So I thought that was a cool moment in there too.
Yeah, so just one of those matches, nothing to scream about, but yeah, fucking good showcase.
Even his trunks and his pads are just scream douchebag.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. It's great. Yes,
and we haven't really seen that much of EC3 since the ladder match, really. So it's important.
They've only got an hour, man.
Like we were talking about earlier, and on paper, yeah, maybe he should have been fighting some no-name fucking jobbers with nothing to lose to showcase his moves. But
but Joe wouldn't like that.
No, it'd be fucking horrible.
But this is one of those situations where it's suiting to bring up because like there is that spot with the war machine,
war raiders,
War Machine.
Where they against no name jobbers, and then we got fucking Nia Jax, who's a champion, with a no name jobber. So it's
that was an exhibition, not a match.
Here's a perfect situation where it just show you don't need a fucking no name jobber to get a job done.
At the end of the year, when we do our match of the year, somewhere on that list is going to be Taco's match of the week. Fabian Aichner versus EC3.
Well, maybe we should have some better matches this week to choose from because it really wasn't shit.
Well, I'm gonna blow you out of the water here with mine. Mine was at least, in my opinion, was a 4.5 star match. A lot of people are gonna disagree with me on this because it was such a different.
Well, that's on the Tommy New Japan 5-star scale.
We're not going there. We're just doing the regular 5-star scale. I'm not a journalist. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's just a quick way for me to convey my thoughts on a match. That's all we're doing here. I'm not claiming to know anything more than anybody else. That being said, my match of the week comes from the best of the Super Juniors right now going on over in Japan. It was kind of a slow week, not a lot of good matches, so this one really stood out to me. It was Kushida versus Sho. Kushida, a former champion, he's kind of the second or third biggest star in the junior heavyweight division in New Japan, and Sho is a young up-and-coming guy. He's in a tag team right now, so I wasn't really expecting a lot out of this match. I certainly wasn't expecting a lot out of Sho, but this was a very unique match. Again, it's the middle of the tournament. There's a lot of skullduggery and whiskey spitting and ref bumps and roll-up finishes, and so I was just needing something different, and here comes one of my favorites, Kushida, to put on a mat wrestling classic. They only went off the ropes, and I talked about this on Strong Honor, obviously, but I'll talk about it here for people that obviously that aren't really into New Japan or are curious what something like this might look like. But they only used the ropes like 3 times in this match. And if you weren't paying attention, you might have missed it. It was all like the first 10 minutes was all mat-based stuff. And then
it's awesome. Some blood sport shit.
Yeah, but I mean it was so well done, and this young guy Sho just hung in there with this really unique style. I could see how some people might be bored with the style, but I mean it's such a different feel from anything in WWE and really anything that's been going on in the best of the Super Juniors tournament. And not to say I don't think it was boring, because it was back and forth. It was they would throw a bit of like a high spot in there. It just wasn't bouncing off the ropes and reversals and Irish whips and back and forth in the corner and out to the floor and dives and all of that. It wasn't that. It was just paced so much differently, and I thought it was great. I thought it was 4.5 stars. Nice. My favorite match of the tournament so far. I think you should go out of your way to watch it if you're into Best of Super Juniors, if you're into New Japan, but you just haven't delved into the big mess of what's the Best of the Super Juniors so far. I thought it was a fantastic match. That's going to do it for the show this week. Fun show, guys. That was a good one. Yeah, good stuff. And I'm liking the new format. I hope all the listeners, too. We've had some pretty decent feedback so far on the new format. Again, you want to chime in on #TheBest. You want to give us your match of the week. You want to give us ideas for retro recommendation. Hit us up on the social media at BPW Podcast. I'm on the Twitter at the Tommy Striker, spell Striker with a Y. Facebook.com/Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Mentioned the email earlier, bestprowrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. All the links in the description. Check out sltdwrestling.com for great fan articles, a fantasy league, a predictions league, and more, as well as links to this show and Strong Honor. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
Thanks for checking out the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcast, but especially on iTunes. Bye.
Peace.
What I said was, stop talking.
That is a Minnesota accent. What? No, yes.
Lady taco. Lady taco.